Parashas Tafshin Pei Dalet. We're going to speak about the Mitzvah of Tzedakah. That's going to be the introduction. Shabbos will speak a lot deeper. Bez Hashem. Let's go to the Psukim. It's a very, very interesting parsha, the parsha of Tzedakah. It's going to be countless repetitions and mysterious contradictions in the pasuk. We're going to start with Ki yehyeh becha evyon. When there will be, or if there will be, a poor person in Eretz Yisrael, Ma'achad achecha, a Jew, be'achad sha'arecha, be'artzech, in Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, we learned in last week, Eretz Chitos, Oira, it's going to be abundance there. It says, Lo yisechsar kol ba, you're not going to miss anything. So how is it possible to have a poor person, an evyon, which is even more than an ani, in Eretz Yisrael? Here, the pasuk says, just even if we take the pasuk literally here, when there will be, look what at the end of the psukim, it says here, Ki lo yechdal evyon mikerev haaretz. There will always be poor people in Eretz Yisrael. So why do you start with Ki yehyeh becha evyon? No, there's always going to be. It's not a supposition. I'm just going to read a few psukim and point out what we're going to go after. Develop. Be'achat she'arecha, one of your gates, one of your cities, one of your shtetls, one of your neighborhoods. Be'atzecha. So say be'atzecha. What do you have to add me be'achat she'arecha? What do you want to teach me? A city is included in a land. Now, here we're going to start the repetition. Lo yisar meitzas levavcha. Don't harden your heart and don't close your hand. I mean, you're just saying, don't refuse to give. So why don't you write it? What do you have to go after the heart and after the hand? Do you know mitzvahs where, we go after the das? The hand and the heart go after the das of the person. And here we go again. Me'achicha evyon. Ki pasoyach tiftach. You can't say pasoach or ki tiftach. No, pasoyach tiftach. Siyadecha. Be'ave tavitenu. Here we go again, repetition. De machsoiro. His needs. Asher yechsar loy. That he's going to need. And the pasuk I mentioned before in Parashas Eikev said, Ki lo yisechsar kol boy. You're not going to miss it. It's Haftacha b'Kadosh Baruch Hu that in Eretz Yisrael, the Bnei Yisrael are not going to miss anything. So how is it possible here that this pasuk tells us that there are going to be people, and constantly people that are going to be Chman Itzlan Evyonim with nothing? This pasuk is also interesting. Yisham Elecha, if you're not going to want to lend him money on the 7th year, because 6th year, because the Shemitah comes and you don't want to lose your money. He calls this Vera Eincha Be'achicha Evyon. You're looking at it in a bad way because, he's not going to be able to pay you in a few months, and then there's going to be the Shemitah, and then you're going to lose your money. Ve'kara Alecha El Hashem. He will call on you to Hashem. Whoa, since when is it mutar? The Gemara says, when you call someone on Hashem, that guy is first punished. And here, no. V'haya b'chachet. And there's going to be a chet on that person. Now, let's go back with repetitions. Nasain titen loy. One was not enough. And if you give it to him, and you give it to him the right way, then you're going to be blessed. Bechol ma'asecha. everything you do. But the pasuk has to repeat, Ubechol mishlach yadecha, wherever you're going to extend your hand. But here, the first one includes the second one, contrary to the others. That he could have said the last one, but not the first. Here, it's Ubechol mishlach yadecha is totally superfluous. No need to mention it. So why is he saying it? There's always going to be, he will not cease, to have Evyonim in Yisrael. That's why I order you to saying, but you already said it. Your hand, again the hand, to your brother. Now we remember the ani. That to the ani too. But ani, evyoin, something. If you have to give tzedakah, you could have kept one. What is this lotion here that's completely out of the ordinary in the psukim? One repetition. Here we have everywhere repetitions. What is the Torah trying to teach us? What is the side of that mitzvah, which is called tzedakah, that the pasuk obviously comes to stress? There is a special sgula here that the pasuk, probably, as we got to see, wants to tell the person. And what is it? So the Gemara says in Bava Basra, the Yud Amud Aleph, Meir brings a brisa that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the poor, why doesn't he give them parnasa? The key of parnasa is in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the aniyim, he should give them parnasa. So says Rabbi Meir, if someone asks you that question, tell him that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the poor in order to save us from the Gehenna. So he suffers and we are saved. That's great. And that's and it happened, the Gemara brings down that Tyrannus Rufus, the Caesar, asked Rabbi Akiva, if your God loves the poor, why don't he feed them? Why don't he give them parnasa? And Rabbi Akiva answered like his Talmud, Rabbi Meir said, it's in order to save us from Gehenna. So Rufus says, I'm going to give you an example. A king got angry at his slave and he put him in jail. And he told the guards not to feed him and not to give him water. Someone went and gave him water. When the king heard that, he got very angry. If he decided him not to feed him, why do you feed him you? In other words, Rufus was saying that they don't save you from Gehenna. You will go to Gehenna if you feed them. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself doesn't want them to be fed. He created them. He has the responsibility for them. Rabbi Akiva answered him, I'll give you an example. The king got angry at his son. He put him in jail, and he told the guards not to feed him and not to give him water. Someone came and fed the son of the king, the prince, and gave him water. Isn't the king going to send a present to that person that saved his son, over his own, despite the fact that he reneged the word of the king, but the king was undercast. He was angry. And it was not smart what he said, to kill the prince like this. So for sure he's gonna get, and we are banim atem lashem elokeichem bnei Yisrael. I compare to the children of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's something I really don't understand in this Gemara. That's all nice when you try to explain up a pshat like this. However, let's go down to the ani. I have to suffer for the rich to save the rich from Gehenna. Why don't he save himself? He has the money. He has everything. Why do I have to be the korban in order for the rich guy who misses nothing to be saved from Gehenna? Do HaKadosh Baruch Hu love the rich people over the poor people? That's what it seems. Because the poor people is the korban. And the rich people is the receiver. He has the money, he has everything. He does chataim with all this. And now he needs the ani in order to save him. Is that fair? Obviously not. Unless we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the rich people. That's why in the first place he made them rich. And that's why also he sends them money. But then it's hard to explain like this because the Gemara keeps on and say, Rabbi Yeshua ben Korcha says, anyone who turns his eyes away from tzedakah, not that he didn't give, he just turned his eyes, don't want to meet the Gabbai tzedakah. He ilu oived aveda zara. Someone who avoids tzedakah, it's like he chas v'sham is kofer b'koif. Why? Because there's an aftacha in tzedakah that we're going to see later the psukim that someone, even if he spends all his money in tzedakah, like the Riyah Kadosh is brought down in I think it's in Shar Ruach HaKodesh. I can't remember. I think it's like Drush Aleph. I think so. That every day, whatever money he had in the pocket, he was giving it. There's a haftacha that the person that gives the money to tzedakah, he will never miss money. So on one hand, we see that tzedakah is so chashuv that you have to do it, but on the other hand, we see that it's all to the benefit of the usher. So maybe we can say just simply that HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves so much the usher that he absolutely wants him to be saved through the tzedakah, and that's why he puts such an obligation. However, the ani, nothing. He doesn't have parnasa, and he has to face the usher and ask him for a favor. And with that, he's mechaper on the usher. The Gemara keeps on a little bit and says, two psukim we have in Mishlei. Shlomo HaMelech says, Lo yo'il hoin b'yom evra. The day of wrath, money won't help. Fortune, hoin is fortune, won't help. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet. The way Chazal Taishin and the Metzudas is on the day when Chman Aritzlan, it's nigzer on someone that, let's say there's no more fuel in the car, no more gas. It's got to go. If he gives tzedakah tatzil mimaves, that the tzedakah can be mevatel like zero. On the other hand, it says, Lo yo'ilu otzrois reisha. Even if the Russia has chambers full of fortune, it's not going to help him. Tzedakah tatzil mimaves. And that tzedakah will save him. So the Gemara is asking, why do we need these two psukim, and at the end, they're exactly similar? Tzedakah tatzil mimaves. What are these two psukim for? The Gemara says, one is to teach us that the tzedakah saves from Gehenna, from the dinas of Gehenna. And the second one is because tzedakah saves from misa meshuna, that a person who's nigzar for him to die in not a natural way, the tzedakah will be mevatel this gzera. So he asked him which one is saving from unnatural death. He told him the one when you give and the receiver doesn't know who gave it. So he has less busha, it's a higher level of tzedakah. Very good. We see now that not only the poor man is a korban to save the rich guy from Gehenna, but he saves him also from misa in this world. After all this, can HaKadosh Baruch Hu give him a little bit in this world? You know? And why him? The Gemara says in Edarim, Samech Dar, you know, that Ani Chashiv Kemes. So he has to live a life. Someone who dies, you say, okay, it's not someone who's sick and takes him a long time, but someone who usually, you know, a few days and he's gone. This person has to live years over years over years of death. Day after day, it's a day of death. All this to save the usher? You can't tell me now that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't love the usher. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves him. Gemara says, my misa, what is death? Aniyas. When Moshe was announcing Mitzrayim, Ki Meisu Kol Anashim, that all the people that wanted your life died, he was Dasan Barbiram. These are the one that Bashmutz him to Paro. They were Moitzi Shemra and they were Moiser him to Paro. And they were not dead. They came out of Mitzrayim. So what he means, Ki Meisu Kol Anashim? Says the Gemara, Meisu, they didn't die, literally, but they lost all their money. In this world, there's nothing a person, it's like 4 walls. You throw a ball, it comes back at you. A boomerang, it comes back at you. You try to hit someone, you're going to be, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, we say in Parashas Azinu, Hatzur Tamim Pa'oloi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does everything with mimus. Behold the Rachav Mishpat. Everything is calculated according to justice. El Emunah ve'ein avel. Can trust Hashem that everything is doing, there's no corruption there. Tzadik ve'yashar hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a tzadik and yashar. So why did he create the ani? We don't see any purpose in this world to the ani besides helping the usher. Helping the usher in this world and helping the usher in the other world. We think, oh, the ani is going to have a greater chelik in Gan Eden. Mara says in Brachas, brings a story, 2 stories actually. Hey, Amud Beis in Brachas. The Gemara says, one time Rabbi Chia bar Abba got sick. and he fell to bed. He was not well at all. Rabbi Yochanan came to visit him. He told him, Chavibi nalecha yisurim, do you accept the yisurim that you're having now, suffering and being in bed? He said, I don't want them, and I don't want their reward neither. So he told him, give me your hand. He held his hand, and right away, he got cured, and he got up. The Gemara brings another story about Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar got sick and went to see him, to visit him, Rabbi Yochanan again. And he saw that he was really living in misery. There was no even light in the room. It was very dark. So what did he do, Rabbi Yochanan? He raised his shirt and exposed his skin, and all of a sudden the room was full of light. Rabbi Yochanan was known to be very beautiful, and his skin was shining. So Belazar started crying. And he asked him, why are you crying? He told him, because when I see that beauty that's going to end up in the ground and going to be lost in the ground, I am crying. Rabbi Yochanan says, you are right. And they both started crying. After a little bit, he asked him, are you appreciating the Yisurim? Because you're getting a big reward. He says, I don't want them, and I don't want their reward. We're talking about Gdoilei Tanoim. They don't want Yisurim. Kol sheken misov aniyis. So why this ani is punished? Why is this ani poor in this world? Not only he's poor, it's already an affliction. The highest level of affliction, but he's a carbon for the usher. I want to bring a raya from the Zohar Kodesh that in Parshas Vayera, that the ani is really the carbon, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu really loves the usher. And we need to understand that. Why is this chiyuv tzedakah? Why is this zeros? Why is this? The Torah is pushing so hard that there's a special skula in the Mitzvah of tzedakah. There's more than one. We'll see. Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, is saying, look how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu does favors with these creatures. And Kol Sheken, he wants to learn those who are going on the right path. He says, look, even if someone is not on the right path, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees that his time is up, because every time a person has a chorus, it starts from the end of life to shorten, to shorten, to shorten, to shorten, until he has no more gas to keep on going. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees that his time comes. So what he does, he sends him a present. What's the present? The present is a poor person going to ask him for tzedakah. And if he gives him tzedakah, right away, the gzar din of Misa is bottled. We'll see why, because there's a lot of details of what happened with the tzedakah, and I'd rather give it, usually I give you more in packages, But here, it's so important, everyone, that we'll see. So, because as soon as the person gives, the usher gives tzedakah to the ani, there's a chut shel chesed, a thread of chesed coming down and writing something on the forehead of the giver, the usher. And now the Malach HaMaves, when he sees that sign, he gets scared and he moves on. To decipher that, I'll give you the Kodesh in Sefer Likutim is in Tehillim, Kufyud Beis. Huge Arya Kodesh, huge. Anyway, he says that on any mitzvah that a person does, there's a letter that belongs to that mitzvah. I don't know, if you do a tefillah, the top is going on the forehead, but it only shines for one day. Once a person does tzedakah, the letter shines, first of all, in a way that all the mazikim, even the mashchis, even the malach hamaves get scared, and it shines for one full week. And not only it shines for one full week, since the avoidance of a person are written on his forehead, he goes and hides the letters that show the avoidance of the person. That's the Taichin Bezalel. What does he do? This rishum, this mark that he does on the person, he gives him a tselem Eloikim. When a person does avoidance, the first thing to leave him is the tselem Eloikim. He becomes an animal. What scares animals or going from a yid, from a yid that goes in the derech HaTorah, is the tselem Eloikim, because the nefesh sees the yud ke vav ke shema on the tselem Eloikim. And this, no creature, none in this world, none in the parallel world, can withstand, stay close to the Shem Hashem, the air that comes out of the Shem Hashem. So, one second. This enhances the question, right? The ani is the present. The beneficiary is the usher. Not only the ani is a korban, now the usher is also going to gain that he gets a tselem Eloikim, that he gets chut shel chesed. Now the Malach HaMaves is scared of him. I understand that the ani wants to be a usher. I understand that everybody wants to be a usher. So why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create everyone a usher? And find another way to give tzedakah, maybe to a kollel, maybe to yeshiva, maybe to bnei Torah, this type of but ani? No ani. It's not right for ani to be ani. What did he do? Nobody can be something unless he created that problem. But what did he do, for goodness sake, that he has zero mazel, and everything he touches becomes, dust, becomes ashes. Nothing works. Says the Ohev Yisrael, T'chusa Yagan Aleinu, on this pasuk here, in Tehillim, Pizar Nosan Loevyoim. From the word lefazer, to scatter. So he gave money, he scattered money to Evyoim, to poor people. Tzidkosoi oimedes law. His tzedek, his justice, tzedek is justice, stands forever. Karnoi tarum bechavoi. his horn, meaning his name, he's going to be elevated, and he's going to receive profit. We stop right there on that pasuk, and we say, what the heck? The Asher is getting everything. He hit the lotto. Now he's going to get even greater, but not only in this world, even up there. And if he was already an usher, he's going to become even a bigger usher. The poor remaining poor, and the usher is growing. You tell me who Hashem loves. Says the Oyev Yisrael, the side here is, it says, we learned in the pasuk that when you give tzedakah, it says here, there's a love. Nosain titen loy, give him. Veloy yera levavcha besitcha loy. Don't do the action, but in your heart, you really don't want to give. You forced by the peer pressure, you give because you want to be pretending to be a big Baal Chesed. All these feelings ruin it. You can only give ki biglal hadavar hazeh, for this. I don't know what is for this. Yevarecha Hashem Elokecha. You're going to get the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Says the Alter, the Oyev Yisrael, that when a person in his lifetime is a usher and he doesn't give willingly, happily, tzedakah, his deen is to come back as the ani who's going to wish that he could become rich and give money because he understands the receiving end of it. So he always daven to become an usher because he wants to give. Says the Oyev Yisrael, those feelings that he has, because now he understands what the Evya and what the Ani is feeling, go and the mashlim, the tzedakah that he did in a previous Gilgul, and make it hold the mitzvah. The Ani is not someone that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to be a korban for the usher. The Ani is the person that needs to have the feeling, only in the heart, the feeling to give, because he already gave in the previous Gilgul enough, and now you're just missing it. But he didn't give willingly, and now with the machshavas that he has, he completes the. And that's it. Kasoi oimedes load. His tzedek, his tzedakah, is standing in the previous Gilgul and in that Gilgul, and together it becomes complete and will stand forever. Says Reb Zusha, the brother of the Noam Elimelech, that when the usher goes in the street, and I'll explain a little bit this Indian, because it's a huge Indian. When an usher goes in the street and gives tzedakah, but unwillingly, doesn't want to give. He's forced. People look at him, you're the usher, you pretend to be Baal Chesed, so you have to give. I don't want to give. And at that moment, Hashem makes that as an ani that looks at him and says, oh, I wish I would be like him so I could give tzedakah. The two feelings get together and make a complete mitzvah. We're going to see why in tzedakah, this inyan of tzedakah, there's a lot of little components that can be together because it affects all Am Yisrael. Says the Ohev Yisrael in Parashas Shlach. Why it's so important to have Avas Yisrael? Because someone who has Avas Yisrael is guaranteed not to come back in Gilgal. Why? Since you were Ohev Yisrael, and the Ohev has other Ohavim, so whatever mitzvah you have not completed, and the din would have been for that person to come back, the other Yidden will complete them for you, so you don't have to come back. You just say, since you were Mekayim ve'afta le'reyacha kamecha in your Gilgal, I mean in your life, and you left Ohavim down there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to do in a soul that they're going to redo the same mitzvah with the right intention, so whatever was missing from your mitzvah, they will accomplish it. So we see a mitzvah, even though, yes, it belongs to someone, as we saw last week, it's only for the shepherd to go first through that person. But the mitzvah affects the Knesset Yisrael, the complete keser of the Malchus, where the neshamas of the Bnei Yisrael come from. The Zohar and Parshas Miketz brings a story. Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef went on a journey. Tanoim were always on the journey. And, you know, they're in the desert. And they meet by, they see from afar, just by a mountain. You can't see how many soidas there's every story of the Zohar. Mountains in the desert. You'll see that every detail, many details, and you're going to, those who can understand. Anyway, they see two people, and they see a third person walking toward them, and he really is not in a good shape. And they see the Yidden, they're dressed like Yidden. So Rabbi Yosef tells them, here, let's wait. Why HaKadosh Baruch Hu is showing this to us? Maybe there's something for us, you know, he wants to show us something, HaKadosh Baruch Hu here. So they see that third person is approaching these two walkers and asked them for food. He said he's been lost in the desert for 2 days. He hasn't eaten, he hasn't drunk, and he's about to die. One said, no, I just have enough food for myself for my journey. I cannot share. Chayecha koidmin. I have to keep it. The other one says, please, I'm going to give you it. Couldn't see, you know, he's a Jew, you know, like fainting from him and dying. So he couldn't see that. He says, look, I have food, eat it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care, you know, of the future. For now, he sat him down. The guy would devour everything this person had in stock for his journey. And he drank his water. He only left a little piece of bread. When he finished eating and he benched, he gave him the last piece of bread, said, look, for the rest of the journey, at least you have this with you. And he remained with nothing. His friend yelled at him, you're Michiganer, you know. Now, I'm telling you, the same way I didn't want to share with him, I'm not going to share with you. I have just enough, and I have to go back to my family. I'm needed, and so forth, all the theories. He felt bad. He says, let's go, Rabbi Yosef, and give him some food. He said, no, back off. He says, this happened before us. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us a big news. So they followed these two people. Middle of the afternoon, they arrive in a place. They want to sit. They sit down. There was a tree. The one with no more food went under the tree. exhausted, and fell asleep. His friend walked away a little bit because he didn't want to eat next to him and drink next to him, so he went a bit far away. And at that point, they see a huge animal, very angry, rolling, going toward the person that was sleeping. Oy, they say, oy vey. Too bad for that Jew. It's probably going to die. And but the animal stood up by the person that was sleeping. And all of a sudden, a huge snake is going down from the tree, trying to bite the sleeping person. That crawling animal caught him by the head, ate him, and left. Yosef turns around to Rabbi Chia, didn't I tell you HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show us a miracle? They went, they woke up the sleeping person, they told him the nace that happened, they gave him food, they gave him drink, they gave him enough food for him on his journey. They went back to Rav Shimon Bar Yochai to tell him the nace. They said, look at the mitzvah of tzedakah. Exactly what we said. This person, there was a gzeira, and the mashchis, the nachash, was already on his way to kill that person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent him a poor person, and he had rachmanus on him. He gave him everything he had. More tzedakah than this. Pisa nosan lo evyoinim. He gave everything. He was mefazer. He scattered away everything he had. He remained ani in the midbar. He was already a mace. His gzera was betela. Want to show here this is what he did, this person. Pisa. This equals to 287. This equals to, we're going to take everything in the Chachma, the Yud Kei Vav Kei. Now we're going to have it Bemilui, Yud Kei Vav Kei. And now we're going to have the Acharaim also. We had the Panim, so it's going to be Yud Hey, Yud Hey Vav. It's called the Kapad. This is this name, because it's worth 184. Yud Hey Vav Hey. That's 287. When a person is mefazer, he scatters his money. Right away, the chokhmah, he touches the chokhmah. He's above all the midas, and he's touching the chokhmah, and the chokhmah is shining on. What is he doing? So pisa nosan laevyonim. He gave to the evyonim. Tzidkasoi. It's not tzedakasoi. It's tzidkasoi. Let's see what's behind that word. This equals 600. Equals kesher. Somehow, he's attaching some of the midas together. Who is he attaching? We'll see later in the Zohar that he's taking the malchus, because all the dinim, when a person does chataim, he does a b'gam in the malchus. And by giving tzedakah, we'll see that even the chataim that other people have done that created a b'gam in the malchus, you, by giving tzedakah, you're correcting them. So it's a tremendous chesed, not only to to the very ani that he gave, but the ani up there, because the one who has nothing, lisla midila klu, the Malchus has no oil. She has nothing from her. We call her dala va'aniya. She is the poor. But we'll go a bit deeper later. Now, what is he accomplishing? Which kesher? With who? With what? This equals 618 equals Kel Eloike Yisrael. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives his name on, especially on the Chesed, but he doesn't call Eloike Avram. It's Eloike Yisrael. This means this is the kesher. Tzidkasoi Omedes Lord, as the Zohar will say, that he's attaching himself. Where is Yisrael? In the Tiferes. Who's the Tiferes? The Tzachayim. He's attaching, as the Zohar Mamish says, he's attaching himself to the Tzachayim. Tzidkasoi Omedes Load, meaning that from now, this person becomes a new person. He was a Rasha Merusha. He was an usher that was doing not the best stuff. He gave tzedakah full-heartedly. At that point, we're going back. He's a brand new person. So what is his reward? We said he's going to become big, Kanoi, his horn. What is his horn here? Will rise with honor. This equals 1,035 equals 5 times oyer that are said in Parashas Bereshis. Only 5 times or are said in the Torah there, which is the oyer adat. A person that gives tzedakah can open up Shamayim and have their, or if he gives it ketikuna, if he gives it as supposed to be, we're going to see, has to be given besimcha. It cannot be given, with a neutral heart and everything. No, feeling that we're accomplishing a mitzvah. Don't know how many Sfarim says to say the Leshem Yichud before we give tzedakah. It's a huge mitzvah that can change everything. You give tzedakah in a pushkin, Rabbi Meir Balanes. It's going to Gabbai tzedakah. The one who's going to receive it doesn't know. It's kedai to say the Leshem Yichud before that tzedakah is being given. There's a Gemara in Psachim, Nunamud base, that brings 2 psukim. Here they are. Ki godel at shamayim chazdecha, the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or the person reaches the sky. Ve'at shechakim is the rekim of amitecha, your trust. And the other pasuk says, Ki godol mei al shamayim. The rest is the same. Here it says at shamayim, and here it says mei al shamayim. The Gemara is asking why these this difference in the leshonis of the pasuk. The Gemara explains when someone does a mitzvah, Sheloi Lishma, he reaches At Shamayim, before the Tiferet, before the Eitz HaChaim. But when a person does a mitzvah lishma, he goes me'al shama, above the Tiferet. So when a person gives tzedakah, and this also brings, you know, that lamdus in the pasuk. Just took it from the Gemara. If we see in the lashon of the pasuk, so what does he do? What does he do if you only at Shamayim? Okay, you're under the Eitz HaChaim. So what have you achieved? This equals to 464. This equals to Sam Hasat. Even a mitzvah sheloi lishma is mevatel the koyach of the Satan, the grip of the Satan that he has on the person. He weakens the grip. That's a mitzvah sheloi lishma. So if we take the mitzvah lishma, it's me'al shamayim. With the koilo of the two words equals 532. And I made a mistake in the cheshbon here, I think. Yeah. 532, the half, even 530 is 60. Sorry, I don't have it. I just realized that, you know, it happens sometimes I go fast, especially here. I don't have the right gematria. Being either on Shabbos, I'll give it or I'll pass it on later. But anyway, we see that a person, even when he does a mitzvah sheloi lishma, the tzedakah sheloi lishma, he can be mevatel the koyach of the Satan from him. So, and we saw before in the Zohar HaKadosh, as we, you know, in Pisa, in the Cheshbonos also, that it's Abba Ubrata, the father and the daughter. He brings the Malchus all the way to the Chachma. Not to the Bina, to the Chachma. The oiris that the Shemis are giving to the Malchus is mevatel all the dinim. And that's how the Tzedakah Tatzil Mimaves, how is the Tzedakah how is the tzedakah mevatel the gzera of maves is because the malchus is going up to the chachma. The dinim are melting down with the oil of the chachma. What are the dinim? The dinim are the chitzonim that are attached to the malchus because of the chatoim of the people. Says the Zohar HaKadosh in Parashas Vayigash. On the pasuk, Pisa Nasan Laivyonim, he scattered his money to the poor people. Tzidkasoi oimei desla, his reward, the Metzudas there, and the Zohar teach that here it means that his reward. Tzidkasoi oimei desla, it's being kept in Olam HaEmes, in Olam Haba. Kanoi Tarum Bechava says the Metzudas is, it means even in this world, he will get more affirmed, he will get greater. And the Zohar says, look, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the person, you know, originally Adam HaRishon to be shoilet on all the brias in the world, not even on the world, even on the other side. And but what turns the table on the person is his actions, because he's losing the tzelem Elohikim. Therefore, the animals are not scared of him. What gave him the koyach to be shoilet on the people, to rule over not only the people, but all the animals, is because he has a levush, he has a cloth of light that's called the tzelem Elohikim, on which there is the Yud Kevav. And when a person does tzedakah, his reward is to get back the tzelem Elohikim. And with this tzelem Elohikim and his mitzvah, says the Zohar, there are 4 types of people in the world. Chachamim, Reshaim, no, Tzadikim, Reshaim, Chachamim, and Tipshim. Just bad people, intelligent people, stupid people. And when a person does tzedakah on one side of the world, the oil shines, and even the Rasha gets a feeling of maybe I should do tshuva. And some will do. And whose benefit is that? That person that gets it up. When the tipesh, you can't blame a stupid person, but when a person gives tzedakah full-heartedly and does it ketikuna, the mitzvah, the oil of the das shines and enhances the chokhmah of the tipesh. To the extent of whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu measures, but there is a change in the world. There is a change. Nothing stays still. Why? Because the mitzvah tzedakah is not a usual mitzvah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, him, creates the world. He created his creatures, so he has to provide for them. But the Asher hasn't created the Ani. And he will, and despite that, he will mimic HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say at that point, Kabiyachol is like he created me. He's acting as a creator. And therefore, the mitzvah of tzedakah has so much in it. Because the person is not acting as an individual, as a creature, he's acting as a creator. And this gives tremendous power to that mitzvah. That's why that mitzvah can be done in one side of the world and have effect on the other side of the world. Now we mentioned that the tikkun of the tzedakah, the primary tikkun of the tzedakah is for the malchus. And we pointed out that there was a stira in the psukim. Let's go back in here. In that pasuk, it says, "Ki yihyeh becha evyon." When, it's not for sure when there will be. And here it says, "Ki lo yechdal evyon." There will always be. If we analyze who we're talking about here, because obviously these languages are in full stira. This equals to 151, equals to the Shem Kana, the Keye, which is in the Malchus. Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. The one that's Mikveh Yisrael Hashem. The Malchus is the Mikveh is Metar the Bnei Yisrael. So when we start talking at the beginning, it's telling us the primary recipient from the tzedakah is the upper ani, is the malchus. The ani down here, it's because he is attached to the ilana de moisa, the eitz hamaves, which is the malchus of the dinim inside the malchus. We explained because of what he did in the prior Gilgul, so he is under the malchus, and therefore he cannot succeed. He doesn't go above. And he needs someone else, the Asher, which is attached to the Eitz HaChaim, to bring him and attach him to the Eitz HaChaim to give him chiyus. And the same way the Asher is mechaye the ani, HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'mida keneged mida is mechaye the ani. It says here, now we start understanding a bit, but then we don't understand the Lashon. It says, me'achad achecha. Sorry, it's people from the hotel here. Let's see what's behind. Me'achad equals 53. Like Gan, we know Gan is the Shechina in Pardes Rimonim, like Evan, which is the Evan that Yaakov found on the Be'er, it's the Shechina, and it's the name of the Shechina incomplete. Because in the Yud Kei Vav Kei, Yud, Hey, you see I put an Aleph in here. This is the only Shem that has 9 letters, which is never mentioned in the Zohar. The only time he's going to write it like this. This is after the Olam Atikun, it's going to be written. It's also going to have the Malchus, also going to have 9 letters, and it's going to have an Aleph. When you put the Shem Ben with an Aleph, is a gun. That's what we're having. So what we're doing here, we're doing the Tikkun Ashchina. When the ani comes, it's not a poor person that comes to bother you, to bother me, or anyone, chas v'sham. Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, your chelek in the Shechina has a problem. And you need that mitzvah to fill it. So we had another Yitur Lashon here, so what do we have to do? We had Be'achad She'arecha, which is already included in Be'atzecha. So what do we have to do in the Mitzvah of Tzedakah? This equals to 615. Equal to all the Yehudim of the world. All of them exactly the same. So we're going to go from Olam HaBeriyah down. Kel Shakai, Kel Yud Kei Vav Kei, Kel Adnos, Kel Elohim. What do, the Yehudim? They elevate. What do you have to do with your mitzvah? Elevate the malchus. What kavanah do you have to have what kavanah do you have to have when you give tzedakah? To elevate the malchus. Where to? To the chokhmah. Why? Because when it's going to be there, there's going to be a huge shefa coming down for the whole world. The whole entire world. Not going to have time to answer all the questions. I see as already time passes. Though I would like to give you something which is huge. In Parashas Bereshis, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the person, he said, Nase Adam. You know the story. I'm just going to go very quick over it, just to give you a little bit of context. It's two Malachim came. We know the two. HaKadosh Baruch Hu threw them to earth. We know what they became. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent a message. What he means, Na'aseh Adam. The Asiyah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is never, ever stopping. The Asiyah of a person is constant. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give the bracha, said this Lashon is already included in the previous. Ubechol mishlach yodech. Let's copy it. Let's see what's in there. This equals 470. 470, you should know that number. It's 10 times. Let me write in here. 10 times Yud K Vav K plus, I don't write plus. 10 times K. Chachma Bina together, Yichud in full. What have you done to deserve that? What huge mitzvah have you done to do this? The Zohar says the Shechina, Asher Maskil Eldal Bechol Eis, the one who thinks of how to help poor people at any time. Says the Zohar Kodesh Bechol Eis, Eis is the Malchus. Equal Eis. Equals Naaseh Adam. In other words, let me give it to you in order. You help the Shechina, which is the Evyon. You bring her up to Chochma, gets full yichud of Chochma and Bina, Abba and Ima, gets full light, full tikkun from them, because he gets all the Yud Ke Vav Ke, all the Ke. The person is getting Chut Shel Chesed, as we saw before. He's getting a new Tzelem Eloikim, but not only the Tzelem Eloikim. He's a new Bria. He can start anew from now. And therefore, he deserves a special bracha at that point. Wherever he's going to touch, he should have atzlacha, because it's also equal. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rewarding midah keneged midah in this huge mitzvah of tzedakah that can change not only his future if he wants to start a new life, but also for Reshaim anywhere. Look at the chesed, how far he goes, and all this comes to Yom Adin. Says the Riyah Kodesh. Says the Riyah Kodesh that it says from Chibut HaKever, the Malach of Tzedakah goes with the person in the kever, and he doesn't let the mashchisim touching the person, hurting the person. He goes up with him to the din, and doesn't let the mekatrek speak because he's scared of this malach. That's how huge this mitzvah is, because this mitzvah doesn't belong in this world. That's why Chazal say, mitzvah tzedakah shkula keneged kol mitzvahs. the mitzvah of tzedakah is keneged all the other mitzvahs. So usually it's because a person is doing something as a creator, what he's a creature. Baruch Adonai Elohim, amen.